if you want to engage employees, that first impression after the actual hiring process within the company is that onboarding period. So you got to make sure that that's done properly.
Max, thanks for joining us again. So we've spoken about the recruitment process. What about the onboarding experience?
Thanks, Jack. It's good to be back again. Onboarding. You know, we have within this leadership model that we usually talk about for our customers, the first step is to hire right. The second one is really train right, train the people right, and get them on board in the right way. Now, here's a funny number that I just found, and it's actually 1 out of 5 companies doesn't even have an onboarding program, it seems. So that's kind of funny. And looking at that, and you know how much we focus on employee engagement, if you want to engage employees, that first impression after the actual hiring process within the company is that onboarding period. So you got to make sure that that's done properly, right? And funny enough, 30% of all the new hires start looking at a new job within the first 6 months. So that's 1 out of 3. So there's something, there's an area for improvement there, and that's for sure.
So adapting to change is a crucial part of the corporate world. Do you see this as something that is happening in the corporate world?
I mean, connecting it to the onboarding process and everything, of course, there's a lot of room for improvement. And when you start looking at in the world of change and change as a whole, and based on trainings and whatever it is, there are some numbers out there that say that only 30% of all change initiatives are actually successful at the end of the day. And that's a very low number. And there are a lot of different reasons behind it, of course. And I mean, even I can relate to some time where you receive this wonderful program and training over days, even sometimes weeks, along a year, and all the intentions are great, but when you actually get back from it and feel that motivation and positive mood, all of a sudden you realize that, well, the tools that you need to have in place are not necessarily there. The management and leadership are not really behind it in the right way, and the team, they don't really know what to do about it, and it kind of gets stuck right there.
So how can businesses better develop the kind of training they do to help develop their talent pool?
So again, it connects to the passion that I have and what I'm really obsessed about, and I think engaged employees really are the ones who can make sure that when you're trying to create a change and get something better, that they're on board and make sure that it happens. Now, it's very important not to mix up employee satisfaction and satisfied employees with engaged employees. You could be very satisfied, and as an employee, if you got a pretty good salary and you don't have to do that much of your work, and you got a great amount of vacation or whatever it might be, and that doesn't necessarily translate into your ability to be a great performer and care about your company. Now, as an engaged employee, on the other hand, you actually are supposed to have that emotional connection to your company, and you care about it, and you care more about embracing change and also continuous improvement, which is so essential. So I think engaged employees and ways to improve engagement is a very good trick to start with, definitely. Now, there's another thing to focus on, which of course is on the leadership part. Leaders, as well as the HR teams who create the training programs and whatever it is, they need to stick very much connected with each other. And we mentioned it in the previous video. It's very important for leaders to be connected, to managers to know what HR is proposing, to know what kind of training programs are going on, so that they really translate and take the necessary tools that are available and then keep the implementation of these changes going afterwards within the company. So that's something else that's not necessarily happening at an effective rate, and we got the 30% only success rate to show for it. All right. Now, and as a last point, I really think that it needs to be within the culture of the company to have that attitude towards change and continuous improvement. It's got to be something that is in the blood of the organization, right? And I think that before you start off on a whole range of training and development programs or whatever it is, I think you got to focus more on the culture and the attitude, overall attitude and the mindsets of the employees. And that's something I feel proud of, which is exactly what we try to offer, a kind of a mindset change for people to realize that, hey, it's really good for me as a single individual performer also to have an attitude and a mindset that connects with embracing change and embracing continuous improvement. So these are very simple steps to take, simple steps to initiate at least, and it's harder to implement. But if you have them aboard, on board altogether, it's a very good start for the companies.
Max, thank you very much. Absolute pleasure.
Pleasure.
And thank you for watching. And remember, for everything else affecting the FX market, stay with us here at Dugoscopy TV.